Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I think every conversation starts with, between friends now, are you a fan of Descendants and Zombies? And if the answer is yes, you're friends for the rest of your lives. I've seen some of the most beautiful friendships derive from Descendants and Zombies' success, and it's really been profound. I think one of the greatest honors of my life has been being able to commentate on Descendants and Zombies for each and every single person who ever said they were a fan of Descendants and Zombies. And that's what's so cool about being subscribed to this YouTube channel, is you get a video about Descendants and Zombies every day for the rest of your life. Because that was a promise I made to each and every single person from the very first video that was uploaded and never appeared on this YouTube channel, was that I was going to upload a Descendants or Zombies video at least once every day. And I fell through with that promise, which is what a lot of the YouTube creators fail to do, because they promise you Descendants and Zombies videos, and all they upload is probably one reaction video they upload once every 6 months about Descendants and Zombies. And I think you guys deserve more of an appreciation coming from the host of a show about Descendants and Zombies, because they don't know the first thing about Descendants and Zombies. They're so oblivious to the plot, they don't understand the characters, their reason. I think that there's a certain pride and a passion that goes with talking about Descendants and Zombies, and if you don't have that, if you don't show up on your YouTube channel with that pride and passion existing and being put on display for the fans of Descendants and Zombies, then your purpose is pretty much defeated. I first fell in love with the Descendants franchise when I saw the premiere of Descendants back on July 31st, 2015. It's hard to believe it's been a decade of lineage, a decade of passion, a decade of pride, and I've been so honored to be able to commentate on Descendants and Zombies for you for the last decade. It's been a decade of memories and unforgettable moments that I will never ever forget. From the very first moment we were introduced to the characters Mal and Evie, we knew this was going to be something special. Every VK kid represented something in Descendants. No matter if it was pride, no matter if it was passion, no matter if it was being devious, they were all out to get something, and it was a greater purpose that they wanted to achieve in life, and Mal definitely achieved her purpose by falling in love with Ben. Of course, she had to go to the unbelievable heights of unprecedentedness to achieve her, moment of greatness, but she did achieve that, and I think that forever and always, Mal will forever and always hold a special place in the hearts of every Descendants fan, no matter if she returns to reprise her role or not. And that's been the constant conversation over the last 10 years. Will Mal ever return to reprise her role? I have been one of those commentators that have not wanted to close the door on Dove Cameron ever reprising a role as Mal, because I wanted to give you guys hope. But the more that I come to realize this, I think the times have changed for Descendants fans, and we too as fans have to change with the times, because we can't always expect people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson to always keep popping up talking about Descendants and Zombies, because they've moved on from that. And I think the passing of Cameron Boyce had a lot to do with that, because Cameron Boyce forever and always held a special place in their hearts, as he has all of our hearts. And I think it would be wrong in their minds to continue on the franchise without Cameron Boyce. But I have said so proudly on this show that I think Cameron Boyce would have wanted his legacy to be remembered through the continuation of the story of Mal and Evie. I think you could have continued the story on, and the franchise could have went on to unprecedented heights even without Cameron Boyce, because you could have still honored his memory through the telling of a story that had never been told before about Mal and Evie, especially with how these characters had no backstory whatsoever. And I had a greater appreciation for people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, who came from out of nowhere with no backstory and really brought these VK kids to life, because we really didn't have much of an information about the Queen of Hearts, or we didn't have much of an information about Maleficent or the Evil Queen. So there was a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson to bring their characters to life, even with Cameron Boyce being a part of the franchise. So I had a profound amount of respect for them, because Dove Cameron had this unique ability to separate characters by giving them character traits. We saw this with Lib and Maddie, we saw it with Mal and how she brought her to life, and she ultimately became one of the most revered characters in Disney's history. And then from out of nowhere, here comes Kylie Cantrell with this powerful representation of the Queen of Hearts daughter Red, who just wanted to achieve something far greater than her mother ever wanted her to amount to, because all her mother ever saw in her was the potential to create a villain that would have been more devious than what she ever would have been. And Red, through the consequences of time travel now to be faced in Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland, what are these consequences? Well, one of those consequences will be that Red now has a sister, and she could present, a lot of controversy in this movie, because it could be the first time ever that a real devious villain comes into the plot, and this is going to make for an exciting time to be a fan of Descendants and Zombies. And the cool thing is now, the fans of Descendants and Zombies are not only being introduced to the the franchise The Rise of Red, they are going back and reintroducing themselves to the franchise of the past, because even a lot of the newer fans of Descendants, I noticed, go back on Disney Plus and they watch the original trilogy to kind of fill themselves in on what Descendants has really meant to us for the last 10 years, because the die-hard fans of Descendants, the reality of life is they're never going to forget the original trilogy, and they are forever going to hold on to what was and forget about the past. So the thing is, I think it's really cool how the new fans are being introduced to these characters of the past, and they seem to be idolizing people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, which is really cool, as opposed to just, accepting that the times have changed and we've moved on with the times. I'll be honest with each and every one of you, it was really hard for me to get into The Rise of Red when I, became such a huge fan of the original trilogy, and I remember Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson offering so much to the franchise and really bringing the franchise to life. The franchise of the past really did touch my heart, and the franchise of the past is the reason why we are all here and why we feel so inspired by Descendants and Zombies, because of the franchise of the past. It's not the new cast of Freya Skye and Malachi Burton carrying on the legacy of the Zombies franchise that we all remember. It is the franchise that was created and built off the success of Zed and Addison's story and how it was told. I mean, these stories were very beautiful about how these characters from the Isle of Lost came over from the Isle of Lost and attended Ordon Prep for the very first time, out to achieve acceptance, because they were looked at as being different. I think that the whole constant theme of Descendants and Zombies has always been acceptance. No matter what you have going on in your own life, you can achieve acceptance no matter how far you have to go to achieve it. And we saw Mal and Evie go to the heights of unprecedentedness just to achieve acceptance in Ordon, and they eventually discovered their purpose, and they eventually achieved acceptance no matter how far they had to go with it. No matter what anybody thought of them, they didn't care, and they stood out because of it. And I think more people now are stronger than ever before. They are more courageous than ever before. They're signing up for different sports teams. They're taking advantage of every opportunity that they're shown and presented with in this lifetime. And that's what I've loved about this franchise. Descendants and Zombies has presented us with more opportunities than ever before. Did we ever see the same opportunities presented to us years ago with Hannah Montana and High School Musical? If anything that got Hannah Montana and High School Musical over to the heights of unprecedented and popularity, overwhelming popularity, it was the music. You take the music out of Hannah Montana, was there much of a story? You take the music out of High School Musical, was there much of a story? I think that will forever be questionable, because what people fell in love with because of High School Musical and Hannah Montana was the music and the theatrical presentation. You take that away, then you don't really have much of a story or much of a backdrop. I think if you would have taken the music out of Descendants, I think that Descendants would have still had a very powerful story that still would have captivated people, and it still would have went down as an action adventure and one of the greatest action adventures of all time, because by Descendants 2 you had Uma and the conflict presented with Mal, and how of course Uma wanted to take over Ordon, and it was just an amazing story through and through, and everybody fell in love with it, not just because of the music but because of the story. I remember watching High School Musical years ago and being captivated because of the music. I went to see the theatrical premiere of High School Musical 3 senior year when they were graduating, and falling in love with it because of the music, and being interested in it because of the music. You would have taken the music out of High School Musical, then you wouldn't really have much of a backdrop. The story wouldn't have been as compelling, because oftentimes when the emotions are too high to tell it through the power of a script, you go to the music. And Descendants had both a powerful script and a powerful score, which made it so beautiful. I mean, a lot of people have compared it to Wicked. A lot of people have compared it to a Harry Potter kind of musical. I think Descendants is, even though it's been compared to Harry Potter and Wicked, I think that it's definitely in a category of its own, and it's exploded in popularity for many different reasons. I've seen myself through the different situations the characters have been caught up within, more especially Zombies, because I always wanted to go down in history for being the greatest of all time. I've had this undeniable desire of wanting to go down in history for being the greatest of all time. How I'm going to go down in history for the greatest of all time, I debated that for years, but I know now I will go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time because of each and every one of you. Because you saw the potential in these videos. You saw how, passionate I was about Descendants and Zombies, through how I was able to provide you commentaries on Descendants and Zombies. Because I think that Descendants and Zombies really has changed our lives, and changed our lives for the better. I think that Descendants and Zombies has had a kind message of acceptance and how power can be achieved no matter how far you have to go out to achieve it. Because I think that everybody who's ever watched these videos about Descendants and Zombies that I've uploaded has at one point or another in their life had a dream. And they've come to the realization that no matter how far they have to go to achieve that dream, a dream can be achievable for everybody. A dream is that much closer to somebody than ever somebody realizes. And I think that all we need is a bit of encouragement in our lives, and that's always what I wanted to instill in your minds, is that with all the encouragement that you're given, a dream can become achievable for you. Perhaps you're thinking about joining a gym or joining a sports team for volleyball or swimming, and you don't really feel encouraged because you don't really have that encouragement in your life. And I think a lot of people find that in these videos, and that's what Mel has really tried to instill in our minds ever since the first premiere of that character, was that she was different. She wanted to be different. She wanted to be something far greater than what her mother ever wanted her to achieve in life, because all her mother ever wanted was devious intentions from that character, and so too did the Queen of Hearts for the character Red. But they wanted to achieve more, and they really achieved a purpose and a goal they set for themselves. And that's what I really liked about The Rise of Red, was that movie, while it focused on the relationship between Mal and Ben and all the conflict that was presented within their relationship, the thing was Red's character focused on going out to achieve a purpose in life, to change the altering of time and facing the consequences, which is what we'll be seeing now in Descendants 5: Wicked Wonderland, which makes it for an even more intriguing plot than I think any Descendants movie has ever presented us with. Now we're going to be faced with the consequences of time travel. Now that time travel has been taken out of course, Ruby Rose Turner has seen her exit from the franchise. I'm heartbroken over that, because she became my favorite character, because she really put out into perspective, how far kindness can go in this lifetime, because you don't realize how much a profound impact kindness can have on a person's life, how it can change the perspective of somebody's life when you show them even just the slightest amount of kindness. Ruby Rose Turner inspired me to be a kinder person in my lifetime, to change my perspective on life entirely. From the very first moment I saw the portrayal of the character Bridget put out there by Ruby, I don't think anybody would have been able to do as fantastic of a job as what Ruby did, putting out there how far kindness can go, how much profound impact bullying can have on a person. Because I'm going to be honest with each and every one of you, as I've been many times over the years on this show, I didn't have a very easy life. I was bullied and backed into proverbial corners so many times, countless times in my lifetime. My entire high school experience was remembered for how I was bullied. But, I became a stronger person because of it, because I became a journalist. I didn't stop it from, allowing me to go to school and get a degree in journalism and be able to create these beautiful videos for you on Descendants and Zombies. I went to school, got my education, and became a journalist, and now every day of my life I upload videos about Descendants and Zombies, hoping I'm going to inspire somebody, because one of the greatest challenges as a YouTube creator is hoping that somebody's going to click on your thumbnail, watch your video, and hear your message of kindness. And that's all I've ever wanted to spread through these videos, was a message of kindness, because I really do believe that people like Dove Cameron and Kylie Cantrell are stronger now because of Descendants and Zombies. I just saw one of Kylie Cantrell's latest vlogs earlier this morning, where she uploaded a video of her working out at a gym, and Kylie Cantrell looks stronger than she ever has. I mean, Kylie Cantrell has the most beautiful muscles that I think I've ever seen somebody have. So because Kylie Cantrell is stronger now because of Descendants and Zombies, I feel as if more people are stronger now because of Descendants and Zombies. They feel inspired by Descendants and Zombies. And Disney's really been looking for a franchise to inspire millions of people. And I think Descendants and Zombies has done this. And more recently, with the Worlds Collide Tour, thousands of people came out in unison to support your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars. And you guys did a fabulous job. Your purpose was achieved. You came out in unison to support your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars despite all the criticism you received for being a fan of Descendants and Zombies. And to be honest with each and every one of you, my heart breaks for everybody who's a fan of Descendants and Zombies, because you're subjected to all this criticism about Descendants and Zombies. I just got done watching a reaction video for the Rise of Red movie that somebody had uploaded, and all they had to say was they were pretty much uploading a parody of Descendants and Zombies. And to me, it really breaks my heart that people have to watch these videos. So, at the end of the day, you have 5 videos that you're watching over and over again about Descendants and Zombies, and to me, I think somebody could go out of their way to upload far better commentaries about Descendants and Zombies and analogies when you have such strong people representing these characters like Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker doing a fabulous job bringing characters like Red and Chloe Charming to life, and how fabulous of a job Ruby Rose Turner did. She will forever be missed by me, and it really breaks my heart that Ruby is no longer a part of the Descendants franchise. I give you my word that if you guys get me in as the producer and the writer of Descendants and Zombies, Ruby Rose Turner will return, and I will find something for Ruby to do in the script, because you have a talented group of people really bringing Descendants and Zombies to life. So talented, in fact, that I think you could have found something for Ruby Rose Turner to do. And it really breaks my heart that Ruby had nothing to do because the consequence of time travel was taken out of Descendants. You could have found something for her to do in present-day Wonderland, even if you had to bring her back and repackage her as a different character, because I've seen it done so many times where people are taking other scripts and reintroducing new characters and a new perspective on their character is given. And I think a new perspective on Bridget could have been done. I mean, that's a movie in its own right. You know, going back in time, saving Bridget, bringing her back to present-day Wonderland, and welcoming her back to Descendants in present-day Wonderland. That's a movie in its own right. The movie about how Mal and Evie and Jay and Carlos went off to distant lands to spread the message of Wardon. That's a movie in its own right. So there are so many opportunities to create off of Descendants and Zombies. There are so many opportunities to see the value in Descendants and Zombies that's never been seen before. I, for one, fell in love with Descendants not just because of the music, but I also fell in love with the script because the story was quite intriguing to me. And I've been a theater kid all of my life, and I've been involved in some of the most successful stage productions of all time, from Phantom of the Opera to Beauty and the Beast to Hamlet to Romeo and Juliet, you name it. I've seen it, and I've been a part of it, so I see the value in it, and I see the appreciation coming from people like Meg Donnelly and Mila Manheim, who were theater kids all their life, who wanted to be a part of something so spectacular as Disney, and Zombies and Descendants gave them that opportunity. You know, I was really looking forward to seeing Meg Donnelly and Mila Manheim make appearances at the Worlds Collide tour. They could have been more, they are more in the form of the video package, but I think that the Descendants stars saw the appreciation in the franchises, and they wanted to bring the best out of the characters, and they did such a fabulous job. I have never seen such a stronger character than what Red was because of Kylie Cantrell. Kylie Cantrell really brought that character to life, and she really stood out in so many unbelievable ways that people will never forget her for. I think also having the opportunity to see Kylie Cantrell as herself on the Worlds Collide tour, as apart from the character Red, the moment she broke character, I think there was a stronger message than ever before put out there by Kylie Cantrell, because Kylie Cantrell opened up the Worlds Collide tour with how a dream can really happen for anybody, and it really can. All you have to do is to really hold on to that dream, and Kylie Cantrell forever was the embodiment of how a dream can become a reality for somebody, because if there ever was a Hannah Montana of this new generation, it's definitely Kylie Cantrell. Kylie Cantrell will forever present the argument of how dreams can become a reality and can really happen for anybody. And I think that Kylie Cantrell, with how strong she is, how she never cared what anybody thought of her, you know, it's just amazing how far Kylie Cantrell's come. I say this because I was always a big fan of Kylie Cantrell's YouTube channel, Hello Kylie. Hello Kylie, you know, had 500,000 views in less than a year, 500,000 subscribers, 500,000 views. And it was really a testament to how far somebody can come with their career, how far a dream can be pushed. When Kylie Cantrell, all she ever wanted to do was sing and dance, because all of her friends at the time were uploading videos on YouTube. And take it from a guy who knows how much of a constant struggle uploading a YouTube video is, because you don't know what anybody's going to think of your YouTube video. You don't know what anybody's opinion is of you, and you don't know who's going to be watching your video, because YouTube is public, of course, a public forum. You know, what a nightmare. But I've always loved uploading videos on YouTube. So from the very first moment I saw Kylie Cantrell showing up on YouTube with a smile on her face, reviewing her favorite shows, I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. And I think that Kylie Cantrell really brought Descendants and Zombies to life in a way that nobody else had ever been able to bring it to life before. And I was really excited to hear Kylie Cantrell's opinion on shows that I was a huge fan of, like Victorious, Sam and Cat and iCarly, and I knew she had it. I knew she was going to be something special. And then she was given opportunities on Disney that really weren't adding up, like Gabby Duran, The Unsittables, High School Musical, the series, and then she gets this revered role as Red and really brings it to life in a way that I don't think anybody else had ever brought it to life before, and I was incredibly excited to see it, and I was incredibly excited to hear Kylie Cantrell's opinion on the Sinistars of the past, and, you know, I think it was the greatest honor of her life, and Kylie Cantrell knew it was the greatest honor of her life with how she represented the character Red, and I think that more people now are stronger than they've ever been before because of Descendants and Zombies. People feel inspired because of Descendants and Zombies, and I've never felt more honored to be able to commentate on Descendants and Zombies for each and every single person who ever believed in the franchises, because I think there is a pride and a passion that goes with talking about Descendants and Zombies, and with how far people like Freya Sky and Kylie Cantrell have to go in life, because, I mean, who knows everything at 15 years old? Nobody knows everything at 15 years old, only that life is cool. And there are so many opportunities out there for you to reach out and grab. And I think that Kylie Cantrell and Freya Sky are just reaching out and grabbing the proverbial brass ring and really realizing their fullest potential. Because rest assured, when their fullest potential is recognized, I think that their story is going to be a miraculous story. I would love to read Kylie Cantrell's memoirs. I would love for Kylie Cantrell to put out memoirs on her life, because I think vlogs are just a glimpse into what Kylie Cantrell's life is. We don't really understand the pressure that they are under. Think about it, night in and night out performing for 43 arenas for the Worlds Collide Tour. I mean, that's dedication. That's perseverance. And I think that a lot of profound credit deserves to be shown to someone like Clarke when she's really putting herself out there in a way that she's never been able to put herself out there before. I think it's a tremendous opportunity to be introduced to millions of people every single night of your life on stage with the Worlds Collide Tour. And I think this concert experience is going to be missed. It's going to be in high demand for a very long time, which is why I really appreciate the consideration of taking this overseas to the United Kingdom and Australia and Germany. It's really going to explode Descendants and Zombies in a way that it's never been exploded before, and I'm excited to see what the reviews are going to be by the time they head overseas. What kind of videos will be collaborated, because seeing the video for Gold Is Gone was a huge opportunity for myself. I've seen it 100 times since its premiere. Of course, concert footage collaborated from the Worlds Collide Tour. It was great. It was awesome. It was an awesome opportunity to be introduced to a character such as Freya Sky's character Nova and what she was all about. And the thing I noticed about Freya Sky was she was so honored to be in your guys' presence every single moment that she had the opportunity to be in your guys' presence. She took full advantage of. And because she took full advantage of it, she's become so revered, and she's going to be the next Disney pop star. I agree with your guys' conclusion about Freya Sky, about how she's going to be the next Disney pop star. I, for one, believe she's going to be something far greater. And what I mean by something far greater is she's going to be the next Taylor Swift. She's going to be the next Ariana Grande, and she's really going to offer something special to the Descendants and Zombies franchise in a way that nobody's ever been able to offer anything to the Descendants and Zombies franchise. She's really going to bring it to life. And I think Zombies 5 is going to be an incredible opportunity for us to really get to know Freya Sky and Malachi Burton and what they're all about. And I, for one, am incredibly excited about the future of Descendants and Zombies and to be a part of it, because I think that Descendants and Zombies has really changed our perspective on life, and it's really been the greatest honor of my life to be here, to be able to provide you commentaries and analogies on Descendants and Zombies in a way that nobody else has been able to provide you with commentaries on Descendants and Zombies, because from how I choose to look at it and perceive it, it's almost as if nobody knows the first thing about Descendants and Zombies. They're just there to provide you with reaction videos on Descendants and Zombies because they think it's cool and because they feel as if they're going to get a rise out of people. What I wanted to do is I wanted to showcase Descendants and Zombies for the passion that exists for Descendants and Zombies fans, because this is a passion. This has really become a way of life. It's almost as if it's Descendants, Zombies, or die for a lot of people. And I really appreciate how it really has become about, Descendants, Zombies, or die for a lot of people, because that's people that see the value in Descendants and Zombies. That's people who draw inspiration from Descendants and Zombies, who see it as, Descendants, Zombies, or die. I really appreciate that about people, how it's really become a way of life, and it's really become the greatest honor of my life to be able to sit here and talk about Descendants and Zombies in a way that it's meant to be talked about for a very long time. The original trilogy will never ever be forgotten for how Dove Cameron represented the character Mel, how she brought it to life in a way that nobody else had been able to bring it to life before. I really appreciated that about Dove Cameron. I think Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson will be characters that will forever be missed. But as I just said, as times change, we too as fans have to change with the times, and as difficult as that may be for a lot of people to do and come to terms with, I think this new cast of Descendants and Zombies is far stronger than a cast that we've seen before. It's been represented in a far more effective way, and it's really been put out there. I mean, Clarke, Freya Sky seem to be having the time of their life on tour with Descendants and Zombies. And I think they're going to be even more excited now to go overseas in places like Germany and Australia and the UK to promote Descendants and Zombies in a way that it's never been promoted before. I think the Q&As are going to be off the chart. I think the performance level is going to be at an all-time high. And it's just going to be something that we're going to forever and always cherish, because Descendants and Zombies really has become, an inspiration, a way to draw inspiration. And I'm just here to promote it in the way that I think it's meant to be promoted for a very long time, because it's one thing to show up on your YouTube channels and upload a video about Descendants and Zombies, but are people really commentating on Descendants and Zombies for its value, for its worth, for its greater appreciation? I don't think they are. I think that, if you're going to show up on YouTube, at least, explain to fans why you love Descendants and Zombies. Share stories about your personal life about Descendants and Zombies in a way that it was meant to be talked about. Because I think that a lot of people are just on YouTube to criticize Descendants and Zombies. They're showing up in their videos to criticize Descendants and Zombies. And, I don't want to do that. that for you guys. I want you to see the value in Descendants and Zombies. So if you would be so kind to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would forever appreciate you guys. I would forever love you if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, because seeing the potential in this guy's videos is saying a lot. I think the people who have subscribed to this YouTube channel are really diehard fans of Descendants and Zombies, and I really appreciate you guys for having taken a moment to hit my subscribe and my like button, because you see the value in these videos, because it's not just a reaction video. It's some guy showing up on YouTube, telling you why he loves Descendants and Zombies, because he sees the value in the product, and that's all I've ever wanted to showcase. That's all I've ever wanted to be a part of, is Descendants and Zombies for what its true worth is. So I will upload this video to my YouTube channel. I'm going to hope that somebody's going to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button for this video, because they too love Descendants and Zombies. I want you guys to forever and always know that this YouTube channel will be here for you guys, showcasing Descendants and Zombies for its true worth. Because I think that if you're going to talk about Descendants and Zombies, at least talk about it in a way that it was meant to be talked about. Showcase it for what its true worth is, because a dream can happen for anybody. All you've got to do is reach out and grab that momentum to turn a dream into a reality for you, because I think the greatest appreciation is when you finally realize that dream becoming a reality for you guys. I want to say thank you guys for showing up at the Worlds Collide Tour, putting meaning behind it in light of all the criticism it received. You guys made this so special. It was a moment in history that we were all a part of, because we created history off the momentum of the Worlds Collide Tour, and I'm incredibly excited to see where we go from here. What's yet to be showcased about Descendants and Zombies. We have Descendants 5, Wicked Wonderland. We have Zombies 5 happening between now and 2028, and I, for one, am incredibly excited about the future of Descendants and Zombies and what the future has in store, and I'm just incredibly excited to be a part of it. Guys, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons for this video, because I think you're really going to appreciate the value in these videos. I will be back later on today with another video for you on Descendants and Zombies. Until then, keep Descendants and Zombies in your heart, as I will keep you in mind as we continue to showcase the 10-year legacy that Descendants and Zombies has left us with, and a 10-year legacy that we will never, ever forget.